Have you ever thought about starting a business with a friend? It seems like the simplest thing in the world, but it can hide a huge, huge risk. Well, today, we're digging into a really clever business structure that was designed to solve that exact problem. It's called the Limited Liability Partnership, or LLP, and it's basically a hybrid that aims to give you the best of both worlds.
Right, so picture this. You and a buddy have a brilliant idea. You're ready to go, you decide to go into business together. Sounds great, right? But this is where one of the biggest, most fundamental questions in business pops up. How do you protect yourself if if they don't go according to plan?
And this is the classic problem every single founder runs into. On one hand, you want the flexibility to just get started, run your business simply without a ton of red tape. But on the other hand, you absolutely need a financial firewall, something to protect your personal life if the business gets into trouble. The tricky part? These two things, flexibility and safety, are usually on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Okay, so let's start with the most basic way to team up, a good old-fashioned partnership. It's so easy to get going, it's incredible. But, and this is a big but, that simplicity comes with a very serious danger that a lot of people just don't see until it's way too late.
A partnership is really just an agreement. It's two or more people deciding to run a business together to try and make a profit. You can think of it like being a sole trader, just with more people involved. There's no complex paperwork, you just start. But here comes the catch.
And this is the catch. In a traditional partnership, there is absolutely no legal separation between you and the business. They're seen as the same thing. So, if the business racks up debts it can't pay back, guess what? Creditors can come after your personal savings, your car, even your home. That's called unlimited liability, and frankly, it's a terrifying thought.
So how in the world do you protect yourself from that? Well, that's where this amazing concept called the corporate shield comes into play. It is the single biggest reason people form a limited company, and it's all about building a wall between your business finances and your personal finances. So what limited liability means is that the business becomes its own separate legal person. It can have its own bank account, own property, and take on debt all in its own name. If the company fails, the worst that can usually happen to you is you lose the money you invested. Your personal stuff, it's shielded. It's safe.
So, for the longest time, you were left with this tough choice. Simple and super risky, or safe but way more complex. That was a trade-off. But what if you didn't have to choose? What if you could somehow merge the simplicity of a partnership with the safety of a corporation?
And you can see the dilemma laid out right here. On one side, you've got the partnership. It's flexible, it's simple, but your entire personal life is on the line. On the other side, the limited company. It's safe, but it comes with a lot more rules and paperwork. A classic trade-off.
This is the exact question that led to a totally new kind of business structure. One that was specifically designed to give you that operational freedom you love from a partnership, but with the financial protection you get from a company.
And here it is, the Limited Liability Partnership. I mean, the name says it all, right? It blends the idea of a partnership with that all-important principle of limited liability. It really is a true hybrid, built to fill that gap between the two traditional options.
Now this comes directly from the law that actually created LLPs back in the year 2000. It calls an LLP a body corporate. Okay, that might sound like dry legal jargon, but it's absolutely crucial. It means the business is its own legal person, separate from you, the owner. That little detail is what creates the financial shield.
So let's just quickly run through the key features. It's governed by its own special law. It's a separate legal entity, which means personal assets are protected. And this is critical. The old partnership laws from way back in 1890 don't apply at all. This structure was actually created for professions like law and accounting firms. People who work as partners, but wanted the same kind of protection as a giant corporation. It's a whole different beast.
So how do you actually make one of these? Well, unlike a traditional partnership, which you can basically start with a handshake, an LLP needs to be officially registered kind of like a company. But the process itself is actually surprisingly straightforward.
So, here's how it works. First, you need at least 2 members to agree to start it. Second, you have to be running a legitimate business that's aiming to make a profit. And finally, you have to file the right paperwork with the official registrar, which in the UK is Companies House. Once that's done, your LLP is legally born, though you will have to do some annual filing, just like a company.
All right, so after looking at the risk of partnerships, the safety of companies, and how these two things can come together, it all really boils down to one simple but really powerful idea.
This is the main takeaway.
A limited liability partnership gives you the freedom and flexibility of working with partners, but with that all-important corporate shield that protects your personal life from business debts. It really is an attempt to give you the best of both worlds.
It's a really powerful option, especially for professionals, consultants, and all sorts of other ventures. So the question to leave you with is this. Does this unique combination of flexibility and safety make the LLP the right choice for your next big idea?